Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Thanks for coming out. This is a 2010 Poulan Pro built in February of 2010. I got this unit in the mother load, which was 14 non-runners with one pressure washer. So this has got a Pulsajet carburetor. I removed the carburetor and the recoil housing, cleaned up the coil contacts, and did a little spray painting while I had everything apart. Put some gloss black paint on the engine case, sharpened the blade, oil change. The main issue with this one was the brake control bar was missing. The brake control cable broke in half once I installed a used brake bar on it. I had stolen a brake bar off of an Aaron's machine to put on this one. I'll give you a little walk around. So the distance between the inside of the handlebars here is 14 inches from outside to outside. So I took my tape measure and walked around the scrap yard and found this on a Aaron's. The Aaron's is missing the recoil. It's just a parts machine. So I swiped the bar off of it. If you enter your Poulan Pro model number, this is going to come back as a spray painted yellow bar. The original bar was spray painted yellow. It doesn't really matter to me that this one's black. What I care about is the distance between the openings here, and it's 14 inches, and this one fits, so I'm using it. Another thing I've noticed when you're buying these aftermarket brake cables, these Z's here on the end seem to be a little fatter than the original cable, so you might have to grind down the bend here in order for it to fit in the holes. I noticed that on the other end of the cable too. I had to take my grinder and grind off the back side of the Z turn here to make it fit. So don't think you bought the wrong cable. It's just these newer cables. You got to grind down the bend here. So let's see if this thing will start, and then I'll show you some used carburetors here on the tailgate. So this one had some stale gas and water in the tank, not a lot of fuel, about half and half just in the bottom of the tank, and it was orange. So some old rusty fuel. Cleaned it all up, new diaphragm gaskets, new air filter. There was no air filter on this unit. Check for spark. We got spark, so this thing should fire off with no issues. Let me prime it a few times and give it a tug. Okay, burned off a little smoke, finally evened itself out. I'm going to prime it one time and restart it, see if it starts smoothly. Okay, I'm happy with that. Sharpen the blade as well. I reused the blade that was on it. This is a 21-inch cut. So that was successful. Let me switch you over here to the tailgate. Just a couple of pointers on these pulsa jets. I didn't mention in my previous videos on these pulses. When you take these pulsa jet carburetors off, you'll have the tank here. You want to make sure this cavity here is all cleaned out. All the water and sediment and whatnot from the bottom of the tank is going to end up in this cavity right here, and then it's pulled into the carburetor via this down tube here with the screen on it. So a lot of times if somebody's been in cleaning these carburetors, they don't put this screen on the bottom of the jet, and it gets all pulled into the jet here and gums it up, blocks it up. I actually have this one off so I can show you what this looks like. So in order to get the jet out, there's something else you can clean. If you're doing the full cleaning of these things, you can also take the jet out and clean it. I recommend that as well. So this screen just pulls off. It's not attached or anything. You just slide it off the plastic here. The throttle wafer here is what you need to remove to get the jet out. I'll show you. So this will look something like this. See the V here at the top of the throttle. You want the notch in the middle and both tabs to either side so the throttle plate can go back and forth as such. So this little brass plate is attached to the inside here. There's a little slot it goes in. So you take your needle nose pliers. You see the two divots here. These will be facing you. The single divot here goes to the inside. There's a slot in there. This just goes in the slot. Move it back and forth. It's closing the opening. Nothing's binding. So you pull this out, pull the wafer out. This one's giving me a little bit of a problem. So that comes off. Take a screwdriver. You can see the top of the jet assembly in there. You just push down on that. Put a lot of force on that with a flat head, and it forces your assembly out the bottom. There's a little black rubber washer to keep it from falling out. You pull this out, and you got a couple of holes here on either side. You want to make sure those are cleared out. You can use a bread wrapper wire, get in there and make sure those are clean. Turn it over, and there's a single hole on the back side. Then you can also go in here through the bottom and clean that out. That's where your fuel's going to be sucked up from this cavity right here. So you want to make sure you're all clean in there with no crap. Clean that out good. That's just a cleaning tip for you. A lot of people overlook this cleaning of this jet. They'll change the diaphragm, and then these will be blocked up, and your mower will surge and it won't run smoothly. So that's that. This is a newer aftermarket carburetor. They have the screen flat on the bottom here. The old originals go over the plastic tube. These have a flat screen on the bottom. These are new aftermarket Chinese knockoffs for the Pulsar jets. So, as I mentioned in a few other videos, with your diaphragm kits, you can buy these. You'll get a paper gasket and a rubber gasket. Here's an old diaphragm set here. You can see all the warpage here on the rubber. So what I do is I separate the rubber gasket, pull all that apart, and then I reuse the paper gasket. So what you want to do is put paper down first, your new rubber gasket on top of it, and then the new paper gasket on top of that. So you got a sandwich: paper, rubber, paper. If you cannot salvage the old paper gasket and you just have your new kit, what you do is put the rubber down first on the metal. Rubber goes on the metal. Like, here, we'll get it here in a second. There we go. Rubber down first if you can't put the old paper gasket down first. If this is all you can do. Technically it's rubber and then the paper on top. Like so. And then the carburetor goes on, and then you line up your screws, your Phillips heads. The 5 Phillips heads go on. Tighten them down, but don't crank the hell out of them. This is just plastic. You just want them snug. You don't want to break the plastic. Why I like to use rubber paper is because these old Pulsar jets dry out. The plastic can get warped. So with the 2 paper gaskets, it kind of fills in all the imperfections, all the warpages on these old Pulsars. If you buy a new one, you don't have to worry about it. These are going to be all square and flush. So there you have it. Just another little tip on cleaning the jet emulsion tube. If you got compressed air, you can blow through all the holes. If not, you can use some carburetor cleaner. Dig all these out with your bread wrapper tie if you don't have any other cleaning wire. And then get the main hole here at the bottom. Make sure that's all cleaned out. So on behalf of Mr. Snake and myself, I want to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. It's Christmas week here. Hope you're all doing well. Stay safe, be careful, enjoy your holiday, and I'll be back with you very soon. Thanks and take care.